Hey guys, I don't know that. There it is. So we're gonna click live. There we go. Okay, guys, welcome. I don't know if the connection's gonna work right here. I do apologize for any lag. But yeah, welcome to this live edition of, well, my AEW review. Yeah, I'm doing a review of AEW Forbidden Door. Yes, I'm doing a review of Forbidden Door for you guys to watch. And let me make sure everything's connected. I'm going to turn my TV back on. Right now, the replay is going on right now. I just finished watching.
Well done. You caught your.
Yeah, hold on. Just going to make sure.
Forgot what Chris Jericho did to him years ago. Now he's up.
Okay, so a lot of people are doing live reviews right now. We got Solomonster doing it. We got JD doing a media scrum. Of course, just Alex is going to be is doing his. I think it's somewhere, and of course, I think he's doing his. Oh yeah, he's waiting for his. His is coming up in the next 8 minutes. He usually likes to take his time, kind of get his bearings, I guess, or get his notes or something. Me, I got everything set up here, I believe. Yeah, I do. Let me check, double check if you. Of course, it's gonna give me a commercial first. Okay. Yeah, it seems everything is alright, I think. Hold on. Just want to make sure you guys can all see me here. It says, well, of course it would say YouTube is not receiving enough data right now, but that's just how it is with it. I think everything is up here. I think so. I think you guys can hear me, hopefully. But yeah, the picture says it best. We are talking about AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door pay-per-view. And I do apologize if, you guys are getting a bit of a lag here. I do apologize for that. But yeah, we are here to talk about AEW New Japan's Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Which I thought was good. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. Definitely lived up to the hype. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna eat a little bit of this right now. A little bit of pop. Whoops, tore that up a little too fast, did I? I'm gonna eat a little bit of popcorn here, if you will. I'm gonna eat a little bit of popcorn. What I'm gonna do basically, it looks like it's okay now. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I think every time you use OBS Studio, some kind of software like that, it kind of slows it down a little bit because you got a lot of things going on at once. But what I'm gonna do, did you see this? Actually, it smells pretty good. But this, Got to give my tip off. Got to drink this. Hats off to AEW and New Japan for putting on a good show. So this is to you guys. Oh, it feels good. Going down the throat. But yeah, that's to you guys. That is to you guys. But yeah. That's to you guys. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna put this back in the cabinet. That is Kentucky Straight Bourbon. That is a that is basically a straight. That is Jim Beans, of course. That is a Jim Beans. That is a Jim Beans required taste, if you will, as I adjust the camera here a little bit. There we go. But yeah, it's a Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey. It's a San Francisco Giants edition, like I'm sure it's got for a lot of other teams out there. And it should be getting some here. Let's see. Open widgets, it says. I don't know why it says open widgets. It says stream status is poor. I think it'll fix itself over time. But yeah, I do apologize for any bit of lag, guys, that you're getting right now. I do apologize for that. But yeah, again, let's get to Forbidden Door here. And first of all, if you guys want to know, super chats are indeed open right now. Super chats, super stickers. If you want to donate, it'd be greatly appreciated. To let you know, it'd be greatly appreciated now because the fact that I'm kind of broke a little bit. Basically, long story short, what happened is I paid the cable, but since me and my mom both have our accounts on it, our banking accounts. One thing I think, Xfinity, AT&T, and all of them need to do is they need to basically put the primary banking account that's being used at the top and not just by numbers. Because what happened yesterday, and this was the only other way I was able to watch Forbidden Door, is I accidentally used my mom's account, so I had to pay her back. I had to wire the money from my bank to hers to pay her back. And so I could definitely use a little bit of money here and there. As time goes on. So super chats, super stickers would be greatly appreciated, whatever you can do. Super thanks after the live stream would be greatly appreciated, whatever you guys can do. And of course, Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2. You can find that in the description, as well as at Cash App at BWRosas98. You can also can help support me at my Teespring store. Find some stuff there for you guys, as well as check me out at my Patreon with a $1 or $3 tier. But yeah, the event, though, I have to say right now, I thought was really good. The 6-man that opened it up. I mean, first of all, let me say this. The buy-in really set the pace. The buy-in, in my opinion, really set the pace. And I want to make sure I get all of this correct. I think it's on Wikipedia now, or at least the results are anyway. Let's see. It should be here somewhere. Let me check. I do apologize for any bit of lag you may get, through this. I do apologize for that. So I just want to look here. Here we go. Pay-per-view events. Let's see. 2022. Here it is. Forbidden Door. So yeah, the first one was good. I actually tuned in just a few minutes late, but we had the Bushamon, which was Hikaru Gato and Yoshihashi they took on Aaron Solo and QT Marshall, the Factory. That was a good opener. Gato and Yoshi went over, as I think expected. Then we had Lance Archer against Nick Camarado from the Factory. That was a good one. Good hard-hitting, as they would say, hoss fight. And Lance won that one. Then we had Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defeat the members of Suzuki Gun, of El Desperado, and Yoshiba Camarado, Kanemaru. It's kind of hard to announce these names. But they had a good match, a good tag team match on the buy-in. That was good. And then we had Max Caster and Billy Gunn in basically a 4-on-2 handicap match to defeat the New Japan Dojo, the New Japan LA Dojo, along with Yuha Uemura. What happened was, basically Yuha Uemura was basically part of the LA Dojo, the New Japan LA Dojo. What happened is, basically at the beginning, you had Danhausen, come on the screen and say something to the effects of, he had like a new theme song for the Ass Boys, for Austin and Colton Gunn. And what happened is he said, here's a little song and everything. Okay, bye-bye. And all of a sudden you hear this weird, I guess you could say this revised version of I'm an Ass Man, which was Billy Gunn's theme in WWE. And here it was we're the Ab Boys, and everything. And it's like, that pissed off Austin and Colton to the point that they abandoned Max Caster and Billy Gunn, but still Billy and Max got the win. And I guess Max and Billy are like, or at least the Gun Club to an extent, at least the Acclaim are like kind of tweeners, baby faces, if you will. Not really sure. Then we had the official pay-per-view. And again, the buy-in to me set the table. And the pay-per-view was actually good. It was, I think to quote just Alex Hicks, if you will. To quote him, it was like banger after banger after banger. You had a few, like slow-ups here and there, but it was like banger after banger after banger. And again, I got excellent connection, so I do apologize for the delays. I don't know what's going on there. But like I said, it was like, to quote what he said, it was like banger after banger after banger when he ever enjoys a great show. And this was no exception. You had Minoru Suzuki and the Jericho Appreciation Society, represented by Jericho and Sammy Guevara, with Tai Conte, facing off against Eddie Kingston, Shota Umuro, and Willa Yuta. And the reason Shota was in the match is because he's the son of Red Shoes, the referee in New Japan. And Jericho had attacked his father, and basically a few years ago, Shota was a young lion in training. So now he's basically been around the world. He basically competes in England at times for RevPro. And he wanted in this match to get back at Jericho. So he had a lot of intertwining Jericho storylines going on. Eddie Kingston and Jericho, and Umura and Jericho. And the match was good. Shota to me, he stood out. Shota to me stood out. He was $1,000,000. Him and Willa Yuta, they stood out in this match. Do not underestimate these two. I think Kevin Kelly. Oh, by the way, they had Kevin Kelly of New Japan on there. And again, I do apologize for any lag, guys. But they had Kevin Kelly, of New Japan, doing some of the commentating, or helping out with the commentary, representing New Japan. And they would always kind of acknowledge his history with certain people, his, interaction with certain people. Like when JR came up, they acknowledged how JR basically in WWE was Kevin's former boss and all that. So that was kind of cool and everything. Anyway, basically Shota and Will Yuta, they shined in this match. They shined. But in the end, it was Jericho hitting the Judas effect on Shota to win the match. And the added stipulation to this match, in this match, basically the opener, it set, along with the buy-in, it set the pace for the rest of the show. I mean, this match, along with some of the other shows later on, was what they define as a popcorn match. And it was. It was like, from bell to bell, this match was good. From bell to bell, this match was excellent. Really good. And I can't say any more than that. It's just really good. And like I said, Jericho won. And the stipulation added to it, like I said, is, because they got Blood and Guts coming up in a few days on Wednesday in Detroit. And the stipulation was the winning team would receive the man advantage. And basically, that's what Jericho's Appreciation Society got. They got the man advantage for the match, which to me, if I'm going to be honest, as a longtime fan, kind of gives away the fact that they're going to lose. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but anytime we've had a War Games style match and the heels have always gotten the advantage, very rarely when the faces get the advantage, they win in the match. I mean, they do win the match, but very rarely they get the advantage, in that match that they win. Most of the time it's the heels, since the beginning of the concept. And here, basically, it kind of, in my opinion, as being a longtime fan, gives away the ending. It kind of gives away the ending of what you're going to get, on Wednesday. Basically, it gives away the result. Like, Jericho Appreciation Society has the advantage. It means they're going to lose. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So, again, I'm not against it. I'm not against the decision or anything. I'm not against it whatsoever. But, just the fact that they gave him the victory, to me, just acknowledges that, the Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston, they're going to go over in that match, in my opinion. So, oops, that's the wrong thing there. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen, honestly. I think, honestly, you're going to have them going over the Jericho Appreciation Society this Wednesday in Blood and Guts. I really do. The next match, basically, as I check my Twitter here, I'm trying to link this up a lot. But the next match, essentially, to me, was one of the matches of the night. I mean, if you want to put a candidate out there for match of the year, if not tag team match of the year, as I check something here, this three-way tag team winner-take-all match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles and the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team titles, that's how they're described, this would be an awesome candidate for match of the year, if not tag team match of the year, because of what was involved. I mean, this was, if you want to say, if you want to come out and say, hey, we need something that defines tag team wrestling, this match here defined tag team wrestling. It did. It defined it without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. It defined what tag team wrestling, is about. It really did. It defined what tag team wrestling is about, because of the fact that all three of these teams took it to another level. All three of these teams, took it to another level. in my opinion. And FTR, they proved why fans are getting behind them. You know, they proved why people are getting behind them, honestly. Because of the fact that they, storyline-wise and whatever, they proved that they are one of the best teams out there today. I mean, I read something that JD from NY206 said, and let me see. I can't bring it up here on the screen, but I'm gonna read it off to you because he's part of the media scrum right now in Chicago. Okay, that's the wrong one. Let me see. He said something. Let me put it. I think he was there. I believe he was there because he would be part of the media scrum right now. So, let's see. Again, I don't know if he was there. I think he was. Okay, here it is. He said this 3 hours ago. He said, FTR is the greatest example right now of WWE not realizing what they had when they had them. The best tag team in the world right now and the new, IWGP tag team champs, because this match not only put in some good storytelling, because basically during the match, I think it was Dax Hardwood that got hurt. He had to be taken to the back. He had to be taken to the back. And what happened is that it was basically, I think it's Cash. Yeah, it was Cash Wheeler on his own for quite some time. And it looked like basically United Empire was going to win because of that disadvantage, or Roppongi Vice was going to win. But then all of a sudden you hear this big old eruption and you knew it was coming. And out came Dax Hardwood. Taped up and everything. And even though he was injured, he went out there and he acted like he wasn't injured. He acted like he was 100%. This guy went and killed it. This guy went and killed it, in my opinion. He proved why FTR is a great tag team. And in the end, they ended up hitting Rocky Romero. I think they hit Rocky Romero with the big rig to get the win. And they end up becoming basically they hit the big rig, I think, on Rocky Romero. And they end up winning the IWGP Tag Team Champions, which means right now, as we speak, simultaneously, FTR. Think about this. I can't think of another time a tag team, legitimately, has held multiple tag team titles at the same time in 3 major promotions. They hold currently the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Which you could debate whether or not that means anything now. It still does. Because people still look at Ring of Honor as its own major promotion and kind of competitive with AEW, even though they're owned by the same guy. But they hold the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. They hold the AAA Tag Team titles. And now they hold the IWGP Tag Team titles. And depending on how long they hold them, that's up to New Japan now. But yeah, they hold 3 major tag team titles. In addition, they held the AEW tag team titles. In addition to that, they held both the Raw and the SmackDown, basically the unified World Tag Team titles on multiple occasions in WWE. And here was the thing. The attire, the trunks, if you will, had 7 stars, indicating they were going for number 7, which they achieved. Which means basically they're counting the multiple runs with the unified tag team titles, even though they were still separate, but the unified tag team titles in WWE, the NXT tag team titles, and now these, and that's what, 3 reigns there, 1 reign in AEW, 1 reign, let's see, what was it? You had 1 reign with the NXT, what was it, 1 or 2 reigns with the tag title? I gotta look at the I gotta look at this. Hold on for a second, guys. I gotta look at the accomplishments. Okay, so 2 times NXT Tag Team Champions, 2 times Raw Champions, 1 time SmackDown Champions. So they have the unified titles, basically Raw and SmackDown 3 times, and the NXT titles 2 times. So that's 5. Then they had the AEW World Tag Team titles. That's 1. That's 1, if you will. Well, that's 6, I should say. That's 6. AAA, that's 7. And now they have the IWGP and the Ring of Honor. So you got 4 separate championships outside of WWE, along with 5 championships reigns in WWE. And that, you know what that is? That is 8-time tag team champions. That's right. 8-time tag team champions. Now, I'm sure people say, well, they don't count the NXT tag team titles because, you know, they were developmental. It doesn't matter. These guys, when you add the AEW, when you add those tag team titles, are basically 8-time tag team champions. It's no joke. Again, think about it. NXT 2 times, Raw 2 times, you know, SmackDown 1 time. That's 5 times in WWE. Ring of Honor makes it 6 times. New Japan makes it 7. AAA 8. AEW, that's 9. Actually, that's 9 titles. That's 9 titles. I mean, I get the fact that they're talking about maybe, you know, Raw and SmackDown. So like Raw, you know, it's 2 times. SmackDown is 3. That's 3 times. Raw, Ring of Honor is, you know, 4. New Japan is 5. You know, AAA is 6. And now, you know, in AEW is 7. I get that. But if you add the NXT tag team titles to it, my friends, that is 9 times they have been tag team champions. Whether you look at it that way or you don't. They are 9 times tag team champions. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. And look, again, you could discount the NXT titles and just go with the Raw, with the unified titles that they got when they were individuals. Well, then when they were separate in WWE, you can go that route, and that's 3 times. But I want to include them. I'm including them, and I'm saying right now that those guys are 9-time tag team champions, and I think they know it. I think I know it. As a matter of fact, where's FTR? Hold on. I don't know if they'll respond, but I'm telling Dax right now, congrats on your 9th, not 7th, but your 9th tag team titles. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And I'm telling Cash the same thing. I'm telling Cash the same thing. Congrats on not your 7th, but your 9th tag team titles, guys. Because you know what? You know what? It's a fact. It is a fact. Those, 9 times. 9 times. That's unreal. That is unreal. But yeah, they are 9-time tag team champions, and I'm counting the like I said, the NXT, the 2 reigns of the NXT tag team champs as part of that. But yeah, these guys went out there and killed it. These 3 teams went out there and killed it. FTR now is not only still Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champs, but they are the IWGP Tag Team Champions. And I would not be surprised if, Tony Khan says, you know what, I want to give you guys the AEW tag titles again very soon. I would not be surprised if that happens. So be on the lookout, in my opinion, for that happening. In my opinion. Be on the lookout. I think it's going to happen. I'm going to do. I really do. This match was good. That's all I'm going to say. Then after that, we had another good match. It was Pac taking on Miro, taking on Malachi Black, and Clark Connors. And a lot of people were writing Clark Connors off. They were. But he showed up in this match. I mean, at first it looked like the crowd, they kind of knew who he was, but not really. But when he got going in this match, Clark Connors, he won them over. He won them over. And there were several times that it looked like he was going to win. But what happened is Miro, how this match ended, and this match was good. And I commented on Twitter. To Just Alex, Firestar Hart, and many others. I commented to them, you got three ex-WWE guys and one NJPW wildcard in there for this championship. Now, originally, it was supposed to be Tanahashi Ishii, the Stone Bulldog, or Pitbull, but he got injured during his qualifying match, not the finals match, but the match before, and the doctors were like, you can't go, so you got to stay. And Clark Connors, who he beat, took his place, and he showed up. So basically, the ending was Miro had Pac in the Game Over. Right? And it looked like he was going to win. Malachi comes in, spits the black mist in Miro's face, hits him with the black mass. Then Connors comes in. Connors comes in. He tries to take down Malachi, but Malachi's got him. In position, basically, but kind of in position to finish him off. But they're on the mat, and this is enough for Pac to hit not the Black Arrow, but a 450 on Malachi, and then hit the Brutalizer, the Rings of Saturn, or lock in the Brutalizer, the Rings of Saturn, on Clark, and Clark tapped out immediately. It's like Pac went up to the top when he saw that Clark and Malachi were down. He hit the 450. And then, after he hit the 450, he goes right over to Clark, who's down. He's down and everything. And he locks in the Brutalizer to get the win. And Pac is your first ever AEW All-Atlantic Champion. Now, again, the way I look at this basically is I believe, this championship is going to allow Pac to defend it, not just in AEW, but he's going to be able to defend it in every other, in other promotions that AEW has partnerships with, like DDT Pro in Japan, New Japan. I think he's going to be able to do it in AAA, perhaps, as well as Rev Pro. So I expect him to show up in those companies to defend the championship against certain people. Thus, thus basically earning it the title of, All Atlantic, because it can be defended, anywhere around the world. It'll be as far as I know, it'll be the only AEW title to do that. But yeah, it was a good match. And like I say, Clark Connors, he showed up in this match. Really showed that he's a future main eventer in the making. So Yeah, I would keep an eye on him in New Japan as well as maybe AEW, if not Impact, because besides New Japan, I could see him showing up in Impact after this, and I can see him showing up in showing back up in AEW, as well as I can see him showing up in the new Ring of Honor as well. But to me, it's going to be. But to me, logically, the two promotions I think he'll show up in the most, without contractual obligations outside of New Japan, will be AEW and Impact. That's why I think he's heading. Right here. But yeah, this match was good. This match was really good. You know, can't say any more about it than what I already have. It was good. It was a really good match. And Pac, he won. And what's funny is a lot of people feel like it was an upset. I don't think it was an upset. I looked at Pac as like being one of the favorites going in to probably win. But people wrote him off because when you look at Pac, you know, and I was thinking about this while I was watching the match, he is a prime example of if Tony Khan wanted to add in a Cruiserweight Championship down the line, he can do it. He can do it because he has the people to do it in Pac and Willa Utah and such. He has the people to do it. So yeah. So yeah, if he wanted to do a Cruiserweight, Light Heavyweight, Junior Heavyweight division, he's got the people to do it. He does. You know, when it comes to like Pac, you know, possibly Clark Connors can be put in there down the line. So, yeah, I can see, and Darby Allin, I can see him if he wants to do a Junior Heavyweight division. He's got the people for it. And Pac, like I said, would be the perfect first champion to give the title to if he wanted to do it. But yeah, this was good. This was really good. And then we get the Dudes with Attitude, Darby Allin, Sting, and Shingo Takagi versus Bullet Club, reunited, well, this interpretation of Bullet Club, reunited for one night, that being El Phantasmo, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, with Hikuleo in the corner. Now, originally, this was supposed to be an 8-man tag, but what happened is one of the participants on the Sting side of things, I think they got this up here somewhere, okay, let's see. Yeah, Hikaru Takahashi, couldn't be in the match, because he had a fever. He was suffering from a fever, and the match was turned into a trios. And the match was fun. It was a fun little match. Basically, you had, the way it began is you had Darby and Shingo come out first, and then Bullet Club, and everybody's thinking, where's Sting? Something happened to Sting? Lights go out, and the lights come on, and you see Sting up in the rafters, or at least basically a clone of basically someone dressed up like Sting, like back in his WCW days. And then they go back out again, and then they come back on, and then Bullet Club, the Bucks and El Phantasmo, they turn around, and Sting dives on them off the stage, and that's how the match begins. And it was a fun little match. Basically, you had, of course, the Bullet Club, this one night reunion, you know, basically not taking the match seriously or the opponent seriously, like Darby Allin, like, you know, when they would scratch the back and everything, you had, like, Matt Jackson, I think it was Matt. Yeah, it was Matt Jackson. You know, you have him just doing all these flips and kicks, doing all this dancing and everything, showboating before raking the back of Darby. But what was funny is is when they attacked Sting and all that, everything they did to Sting, including what El Phantasmo did, had no effect, really. It's like they hit the super kick on him, that being the Bucks, and he just stood up like, like, is that all you got? And the reaction on the Bucks was like, oh shit, we're in trouble. Well, it's like, well, not oh shit, we're in trouble, like, oh shit, that didn't work, you know? So, yeah, basically, the match was good. And in the end, Sting, he hits a double Scorpion Deathlock on the Bucks. and then El Phantasmo gets hit with Shingo's finishers, and that's it. That's the end of the match. And yes, the dudes with attitude, the 2022 interpretation, because they did acknowledge the original dudes with attitudes, which was in WCW, that is, which was Luger, Steamboat, the Steiners. So this is the new version, new interpretation. And yeah, they ended up winning. And it was, like I said, it was a fun little match. Sting even did a freaking senton. It's like Shingo does a senton. And then Sting says, okay, I'll do one too. Basically, and he does one, which surprised me. I was like, he did a freaking senton? So yeah, he can still go at his age. Damn. That's the one thing everybody says about Sting since he's gone to AEW. Like, he can still go. And he can probably, he can probably surprise you with what he can do. But yeah, Sting's team wins, and my thought on this is, if they want to continue this situation with the Bucks and Sting and Darby, I think storyline wise they should have the Bucks be like, okay, look, we get it, because this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see on Wednesday. This is what I want to see on Wednesday. I want to see the Bucks acknowledge that the fact that, they're showboating, cost them the match, that they're still going to showboat depending on who they face. But now, when it comes to people like Sting or those that take this seriously, they have to get serious. Like, basically, everybody else we can have fun with. But when it comes to the likes of a Sting and a Darby, we get down to business. I'm hoping we get that kind of reaction, or at least, I guess you could say, response after tonight from the Bucks. Because to me, if you want to really develop the characters anymore, or if they want to develop the characters anymore, this is the best way to do it. But yeah, the match was a fun little match. And like I said, the dudes with attitudes win. Then we had Thunder Rosa against Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Title. And this was a good match. It was stiff. There was, I will say this, there seemed to be a little bit of sloppiness, like a little bit of miscommunication, but still they were able to recover. And in the end, Thunder Rosa ends up beating Toni Storm. She ends up beating her, not with the Thunder Driver, but with the swinging neck breaker that she learned from Dustin Rhodes. So she ends up winning the match. The sportsmanship at the end, at the beginning and at the end. But yeah, it was a stiff match. It was stiff at times. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, Thunder Rosa ends up winning. And I do agree with a lot of people. This is not the right time to take the title off of her because of the fact that, what you want to do is you want to keep it on her. You want to build her up. To my opinion, you want to keep the belt on her to at least All Out or Full Gear in November. That's when I think you should take it off her. And the reason I think they're keeping it on her right now, because everybody was saying, oh, Tony's probably going to win, right? Here's why I think they're keeping it on Thunder. They're keeping it on her, and I've said this before, because they're going to put it on Jade Cargill. That's what they're going to do. Because look at how things are aligning in the women's division. You have Athena on the inevitable collision with Jade for the TBS title, which people are assuming she's going to beat her for. And then afterwards, you wonder, okay, where do you go with Jade from here? Well, the next stage you go with is up. And obviously, by going up, that next step for Jade is the AEW Women's World Title. So I think that's why they're keeping the belt on Thunder Rosa. So when the time comes and Jade drops that TBS title to Athena, her next step will be to win the AEW Women's World Title from Thunder Rosa, thus making her the only woman in AEW history to win both championships and do it within 1 year's time, or 1 year span. So yeah, that's why they're keeping it on Thunder Rosa right now. Not because, there's no one else to beat, no one else for her to really, face and drop the title to. No, they're doing it to keep her ready to drop it to Jade Cargill. And everybody watching this, or right now, or will be watching it later, knows that. In fact, Tony Khan knows that too. And the reason he knows it is because it's one of the worst kept secrets out there today. So yeah. This was a good match. Thunder Rosa went over. And I know some people might say, oh, well, this should have been... Well, I can already hear people saying that this match, should have been on Dynamite or something. I can already hear them saying that. And you got a right to your opinion. You got a right to your opinion. But they had to put a women's match on here. I know some people would say, well, they put a women's match on there when it wasn't supposed to be. Look, you could have either saved it for Dynamite, made it the main event, and given Tony Storm the title there. I will agree that they could have done that. But they didn't want to leave the women out. And this, to me, was their answer to the fact that they couldn't get anybody from Stardom. I mean, during the match, they acknowledged both Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm's history in Stardom, and the fact that they, even though they were both in that company, they never touched until this time. Or at least, up to this moment. Like, they may have faced off before, but they didn't face off against each other, previously. Especially when they were both in Stardom or something. But yeah, Thunder Rosa ends up winning. And again, I think they did that because they're saving her to drop the title to Jade. I see that coming. And again, it's the worst kept secret or the worst kept predictable direction, out there today in all of wrestling. Period. Anyway. The next match was Will Ospreay taking on Orange Cassidy for the IWGP United States Heavyweight title. And what's interesting is how they alluded to the fact that even though Ospreay came out with his Rev Pro British Heavyweight title, he didn't come out with the US title because Juice Robinson, Rock Hard Juice Robinson, according to Kevin Kelly, is faking an appendicitis injury. He's faking he's faking some kind of injury so he doesn't drop the title. Well, New Japan said, okay, well, if you can't defend the title, we're just going to strip you of it, give it to somebody else. And they had a match in Japan, in Dominion, between Ospreay and Sonata, which Ospreay won. But the storyline is Juice Robinson does not want to physically give up the belt. Because basically, he said it in an interview earlier in the night with Tony Schiavone, he is still the real U.S. champion. He's still the real U.S. champion. He has the belt. He wasn't beaten for it. He's the real U.S. champion. And I think, and what I see going on here with this story is, with Juice Robinson in New Japan, is the reason he did all this, the reason he lied about retiring, and it became personal with Kevin Kelly because Kevin would always be, in contact with him, travel up the road with him and all that, and then he does this. I think the storyline for why Juice is doing this in Japan, joining up with faking a retirement, joining up with Bullet Club and all that, and even potentially faking an appendicitis injury, and not wanting to give up the belt, but having it stripped for him, but he physically still has it. The storyline, I think, I think the storyline is pretty good because what we see here, and it's something we've seen in wrestling before, what we see is somebody that's insecure. Someone that knows that if they go in the ring against certain individuals, like a Will Ospreay, like a Sonata, like a Minoru Suzuki, and so on, with the title on the line, they will lose. And he doesn't want to lose that title because he believes having that title keeps him relevant and that without it, he becomes irrelevant. So I like that little storyline to go in there because eventually he's got to have to face Ospreay down the line. But anyway, this match against Orange Cassidy was really good. One of the matches of the night. These guys killed it. They implemented everything from Orange Cassidy's, the way he would, kind of like mock, certain things and all that, with his style, to just straight out going balls to the wall here. And in the end, basically, Will Ospreay did end up winning. He tried to hit the blade. He hit the blade, the elbow behind the head, on Cassidy. Didn't get the pinfall. And then he hit another maneuver, and he was able to, I think it was another finish of his, and he was able to, get the win and beat Ospreay. Not beat Ospreay, but Ospreay beat Cassidy after hitting, I think, another move afterwards. And then you had Aussie Open, the tag team, part of United Empire, attacking him, getting ready to hit the finisher on him again, and that being Cassidy. When you had the Roppongi Vice come down, they get beat up a little bit, outnumbered, but then out comes Shibata. That's right, Shibata, which really surprised Ospreay. So it looks like in New Japan, they're probably building to a Shibata-Ospreay match, and maybe even Robinson being included for the U.S. title, if Shibata could get clear, and it looks like he's going to be. Because he got physical, so obviously he's cleared enough to where he can get physical, but will he be cleared 100% to at least go one-on-one with Ospreay, for the U.S. title, and maybe even Robinson? But yeah, that was an excellent match. Excellent match. Can't say any more than that. All right. So the next match was Saber Jr. Going up against a mystery opponent. Because Bryan Danielson wasn't cleared for this match or for Blood and Guts. So this person was going to be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. And a lot of people were throwing names around. But I think what really gave it away was two things. Reports of this guy being back in the ring, working at the flatbeds in Orlando. And the fact that the silhouette was very familiar, very similar to one we had seen before. And like I said, there was two choices. It was either going to be Johnny Gargano or Claudio Castagnoli, formerly Cesaro. And like I said, pretty much the silhouette and then the report earlier of the flatbeds deal pretty much gave away the fact that it was Claudio. And I think Meltzer gave it away too on Twitter just before the match happened. I was like, oh, really? Seriously, dude? But, yeah, Claudio came out basically as Cesaro. He's back under his Claudio name, but he basically came out as Cesaro. And basically him and Zack Sabre had a great match. It looked like he was going to make quick work of Sabre right off the back. Like, as soon as the bell rang, he hit Sabre with a running elbow and the neutralizer. But, Sabre kicks out. And then afterwards, they had a great match. Very technical, very submission-like. And in the end, Claudio, I don't know what he hit. I think he hit another neutralizer or something. But he ended up pinning Zack Sabre Jr. to win the match. And, what a debut for Claudio. What a debut for Cesaro in AEW. I even said it on Twitter. He's a good fit for the BCC and AEW because he's pretty much done mostly it all in WWE, and that maybe now he could look at AEW as a potential way to add maybe a few more titles to his trophy case, but what will they be? And I'm sure a lot of people are saying, oh, he's got to go after the world title right away. And that's what they would love. That's what they would love for Claudio to do. They would love for Tony Khan to say, Claudio's going to face Jon Moxley for the title next. They would love that. And why? Because a lot of fans just want to see Claudio hold that world title and then basically point at WWE and say, ha ha ha, look what AEW got, you could have got that, ha 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 ha. that's what they want to do, honestly. And I know that sounds childish, on their end, but that's pretty much what they want to do. That's pretty much what they want to do. They want to see that moment happen sooner rather than later. Put it WWE, say this could have been yours, but you failed. Nah, 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 nah. But we'll see what happens. Again, Claudio could get the title. I don't know. But I think, if anything, he's going to be put in position to... here's what I look at. Claudio's definitely going to be in contention for a world title. But I think, if anything, they're probably going to put him with the All-Atlantic division. I don't know why. I think maybe because, he's from Switzerland. That would be the only reason I think they would do it. At least to start him off, and then maybe build him up to the world title. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, the match with him and Saber Jr. was good. It was really good. Again, the way it started out at first, you thought, oh man, it's going to be over just like that. And, it wasn't, and then it just went from there. It was really good. And then we had the four-way for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Jay White defending against Hangman Adam Page, Okada, and Adam Cole. This match was good. I can't say any more than that. This match was good. The guys tore it up, in my opinion. Okada was over as you-know-what. Yeah, this was a good match. It was a good match. You knew eventually during the match White and Cole were going to turn on each other, which they did because they did it too sweet, and then Cole gets right behind White and hits him with a backstabber and tries to go for the pin. But yeah, there were many times where you thought maybe they were going to put the IWGP title back either on Okada, they were either going to put it on Hangman, or even Cole. But in the end, Jay White ends up hitting the Blade Runner on Okada, who was basically beating down on Cole enough to try to get him in position for the Rainmaker. And White snoops in, hits, like I said, the Blade Runner on Okada, and then goes to the corner, rolls Adam Cole up for the pinfall. And you're thinking, wait a minute, he's rolling him up for the pinfall? Adam's going to kick out, right? Nope. Adam Cole did not kick out. And a lot of people are wondering, okay, what happened there? That's kind of weird. Until they saw, Jay White talking with the ref afterwards and then leaving. And then you see him kind of walk by, kind of have a little face-to-face confrontation with the Undisputed Elite, that being Kyle O'Reilly and the Bucks, who are coming down the aisle to get in the ring to check up on Cole. But basically, I think what happened, a lot of people saw this as well because they saw the doctors going in there to check up on Adam Cole. It looked like he got either concussed or he was injured to the point that he couldn't continue, so they had to go home real quickly. And I think originally he was supposed to kick out, and then Jay was supposed to probably hit him with the Blade Runner to go on and win the match. But that didn't happen, and they had to call an audible right then and there. So even though it was a good match, the ending kind of like put it down a little bit. But the reason being is because, of course, Adam Cole was injured, and it looks like this is a way to write him off. But also, it looks like what we're getting is another layer added to the potential Undisputed Elite taking on Bullet Club. That's what I think is happening here. That's what I think is happening. Anyway, though, besides that ending, it was a good match. It was really a good match, and I can't wait for them to finally do the Bullet Club and Undisputed Elite down the line. I can't wait for them to do that. So anyway, up next, we had the main event, which was Jon Moxley against Hiroshi Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Title. Now, how we got here is basically CM Punk got injured, and instead of vacating the title, which a lot of people feel would be the more sensible thing, he can come back and challenge for it again. Instead, Tony Khan, obviously being a fan of UFC, is like, nope, we're not going to do that. If we're going to differentiate ourselves from any wrestling promotion out there and make ourselves legitimate as a sport, we're going to go the interim route. And that's what's been going on. We've had interim TNT champions, and now we have an interim world champion. And basically, Moxley and Tanahashi had a good match. I'll say that. They had a great match. Moxley got busted open, I think, when he was Sling Blade. When Tanahashi hit a Sling Blade on him, and he fell out of the ring. He may have hit his head or something, but he was blading. He basically bled. Basically, he bladed himself here. I don't know if it was intentional or unplanned, but he did it. Anyway, these guys had a great match. Very physical, very bloody, at least for Jon Moxley. And his blood was just pouring down his face. And it got on his hands. And it got on Tanahashi and everything. Not just on his body, but in his hair and everything. And it looked like several times that Tanahashi was going to win. That didn't happen. Basically, it ended with Tanahashi being in the rear bulldog chokehold and trying to fight. And then I think afterwards, Jon Moxley hit the Death Rider, basically the more elevated version of the paradigm shift, to win the match. He ended up winning the match. He is the new interim world champion. He ends up in one corner. He points at Tanahashi, showing that there's respect between them now. But then afterwards, you have Jericho and Daniel Garcia come down and attack them, which leads to, I think, Eddie Kingston coming down to help. And then out comes the rest of the JAS, the Jericho Appreciation Society, to beat on them. And then out comes the rest of at least most of the Blackpool Combat Club, Willia, Utah, and such. Well, yeah, Will Utah is the only one besides Bryan Danielson. He comes down, and everything. He gets beaten up, and then out comes Claudio. Claudio comes out last, and he starts cleaning the house, and that's pretty much how the show ends with the Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston standing tall. But what's interesting is they touched upon this during Claudio's debut match against Saber Jr. and afterwards, and even showed Eddie's reaction when he looked at Claudio and he's mouthing to Jon Moxley, "Him? You brought him in?" Because what they're doing is they're touching upon the fact that Eddie Kingston has had a bitter rivalry, a history, a not so very good history with Claudio, to the point that Eddie doesn't trust him. Well, Eddie doesn't, he doesn't trust. Well, yeah, he doesn't trust him, and he just doesn't like him. But yeah, Claudio's gonna basically take the spot of Bryan Danielson in Blood and Guts this Wednesday. And besides them standing tall at the end, I thought, and Jon Moxley being the interim champion, overall I thought this pay-per-view, like I say, lived up to the hype. It really did. It lived up to the hype. Every match, back to back to back, was good. Even the women's match was good. Even though people might say it was a little sloppy, miscommunications here and there, it was still good, and it delivered. But it delivered on this one of the very rare time matchups between the two. So, yeah, again, I thought match after match, including the buy-in, this show delivered. It delivered without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. And hopefully the next time they do this, if this becomes an annual event, hopefully that everybody that they want to be involved in this will be at 100%, to be part of it. But yeah, basically, the match, again, like I said, the match was good. I mean, not the match, but the show was good. And they had, what was interesting too is they had a banner, you could see it on camera, that said AEW Wrestling Sunday, September 4th, and I was wondering what that was, and if it's what I think it is, and let me check right now just to make sure. If it's what I think it is, if it's what I think it is, because they announced the location, the date and the location for it, but I'm wondering if it's what I think it is. Let me check. So okay, hold on. Let me check here. It says let's see. It's gonna take place. United. I don't know. Right now, it's still scheduled for the Now Arena, that smaller arena. Um, in Chicago, but they had a banner, so I'm wondering if maybe they moved it to. I'm wondering if they moved it to the United Center. So I don't know. So yeah, there was a banner for it for All Out. So I don't know, because it even says, according to Sean Ross Sapp, Talent is hoping it gets changed to United, because that would be great. But right now, it's still going to be at the Now Arena because it's always been its home since it was originally known as All In. But yeah, All Out is scheduled for that event. All Out, I should say, is scheduled next. But yeah, they had like I say, a banner and everything, and that kind of gave me the impression. And again, I'm sorry for any lag or something, guys. I do apologize for that. But that kind of gave me the impression that basically the it's going to be in the United Center, but maybe it's just saying, hey, it's going to be over here. You might want to check out, you might want to get your tickets, or like you can get your tickets here for it as well. So yeah. Again, it looks like it's going to be. What? No. No. Sorry about that. My mom just came home, so I'm going to have to cut this down short. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good pay-per-view, and, can't wait to see how they follow this up on Dynamite this Wednesday. Fortunately, I have the next 3 days off, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can see how they follow this up. The one thing I like about what they're doing with Eddie here, especially as you saw at the ending and the way they alluded to it, if they do put the title on Eddie, which a lot of people are hoping they do, I think Eddie's motivation will be, as long as he's champion, you can't trust anybody. Like, nobody should be in stables or anything like that. Basically, I think if they put the belt on Eddie, which a lot of people are hoping they do eventually, his thing's going to be, you can't trust anybody. So as long as I'm champion, you want a shot, you got to disband yourself from your group to get a shot because you can't trust anyone. That's basically his personality, basically. That's basically his presentation, if you will. But overall, again, I thought the event was good. It lived up to the hype, and I'm looking forward to the next year's, and that's really all I can say. So again, I'm going to cut this short, guys, because my mom just came home. I do apologize for the interruption, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section afterwards. Super thanks will be enabled once this goes officially live within the next several hours. But let me know what your thoughts are on Forbidden Door. What did you think about it in the comment section? And until then, guys, I will